Hello everyone, I've been going to my gym now for many years. My gym used to be in a different location. In the shower stall area, first you had a door in front of each of the 4 shower stalls. When you opened a door, there was a small fitting room just for the person showering, and right there in the fitting room was a curtain, and then there was the shower. So it went door, fitting room, shower. And that was your own little private space. So you could undress and shower right there and then get dressed again. I loved that. That was ideal for me because I wasn't always somebody that was comfortable getting changed in front of other people. And I thought, this is fantastic. People started figuring out a very creative way to shower and use the facilities. They started paying for a gym membership so they could come in, use the facilities, and have a shower. So then I was going for the gym experience and to do the cardio and everything, and I couldn't take a shower anymore. That's okay. I had a home to go to, so I just left and went home and showered. And at this particular gym, there was no rule that said you had to go and work out to get a shower. It was open to whoever paid for the membership. I was just happy that when I did shower there, it was private. Then the gym moved. They went to a brand new location. Now it's quadrupled in size, and I have to wait for a machine sometimes. When they moved, they reconfigured the locker room and bathroom area. And they didn't put up a sign. So let me explain. You go in the gym, you sign in, and then you go down the back aisle. There's an opening in the wall. There's no door. If you just go into that opening, there's a wall that kind of sticks out as a preventative measure from somebody being able to look directly into the locker room, but there's no door at all. Anybody can just walk in there. Nowhere on the wall that sticks out, that goes around the corner to the actual locker room, has a sign that it's the women's room. There is a sign, however, as you're walking down this corridor, there is a small sign on the wall, but it's just a picture, like a stick figure with a dress on. That's all it is. There's no other sign here. So it's safe to assume that, yeah, people get lost sometimes. People walk in there not realizing it's the woman's locker room. When I first started going to the newer gym, the bigger gym, I wasn't afraid to shower here because I'm familiar with the gym thing. And the shower stalls were smaller. They no longer had a door, a private space to change, and a shower stall behind the curtain. Now, they're just open stalls. The curtains have their logo on them, and they barely cover the entire opening. When I would go to the gym, I would have a robe on. And now this is what I would do. I'd get off my machine. I would go into the locker room. I would open my locker. I would take my shirt off facing my locker because not everybody is comfortable undressing in front of other people, okay? I would face my locker, and then I would put my robe on, which was a long robe down to mid-calf. And then I tie my robe, and then I remove my bottoms. Then my socks, and I put all that in the locker. Then I take the bag I prepared with all my little mini shampoos and all that, and I bring that over to the shower where there's a hook, and I hang it because it has a little hanger. It's one of those tri-fold travel bags that are waterproof. Then, while I'm at the shower, I can turn the water on, and the shower heads are like super tiny. The diameter is less than an inch. So if you just push on it, you can push it to face the corner, and then you won't get wet if you just immediately get right in there. in that tiny little space because the water is now going against the wall in the corner. So I would get on in my robe. Once I was comfortable that the shower curtain was going to cover me, I would take my robe off and put it over the hook over my toiletry bag. Then I would take my shower, turn the water off. I also had a towel that I would grab, also that was on the hook, of course. And I would grab the towel, dry off in the shower, and it's not very convenient. It could even be sloppy. But I did that so I could immediately put my robe back on before exiting behind the curtain. And then they do have 2 dressing areas. On one particular day, I had my robe, I had my towel, I had my toiletry bag, and I walked over to the showers. This particular day, there was one other woman working out in the gym, and there might have been 10 guys. I went out at a very uncommon time. I knew that I was pretty much the only woman around, aside from anybody else coming in, in the meantime. I felt a little confident about removing my robe before getting in the shower. So I looked around. Nobody was there. I decided to disrobe, put my robe on the hook, and slip behind the shower curtain, figuring nobody was going to see me anyway. Who cares? But when I got into the shower stall and I turned around, a man, true story, a man had accidentally, because of the lack of signage, walked in to the women's room. There is a men's room, but it's all the way down at the end of the long corridor. So if this was his first time there, he would have never known that. And it is quite possible he missed the little sign with the stick figure in a dress. That is quite possible because there is no other sign. There's no sign warning people that this is the women's room. There's no door. There's nothing. I do believe this was an accident. He walked in around that curved wall like we all had to. Oops. The one day. Yeah, we both were so embarrassed. I don't blame him. I blame the gym for the lack of signage. And I said to him, you know what, dude? It's okay. I know. The men's room is all the way down at the end of the corridor. It's good. We're good. His face was beet red. He was very, very sorry. But again, I don't blame him. I blame the gym. But we all have a bigger problem than somebody accidentally walking into a locker room. It's the intentional filming that goes on in the locker room. And I don't take a shower at the gym anymore. It doesn't deter me from going to the gym. It's because the gym truly changed my life. So I do think it's still a good idea. Now, it could be a matter of which gym to go to in 2026. Could be the decision to make today. This one particular girl was so annoyed by me. She was visibly upset, stomping her foot, filming me because I was in her way. And all I was doing was getting my bag out of my locker to leave. 1 second, And I realized, wow, that never would have happened before. Like, I don't recall this happening in the past. This is something new that's happening. It hasn't persuaded me not to go to the gym. And again, I don't want to persuade anybody to not go to the gym. If I quit going to a gym, it's going to be because of something like that versus somebody accidentally walking in on me. I've gone to the gym for years for my health, and I see how it has benefited me, and that's all I can hope for somebody else. You might see me make a video one day saying, I stopped going to the gym. You see, I have gym equipment at home. I have my bag, I have my elliptical, I have my treadmill, I just bought a rebounder. Plus I have a yard. Plus I have a walking track outside right near my house. So I don't need to go to a gym. I don't need a gym membership. But what I love about going to a gym is it has pushed my limits. And I'm able to get beyond my limitations because I have other people there that I see, that inspire me, that encourage me. That's what I love about going to the gym. I encourage you to still go to the gym, but reconsider showering or undressing in the locker room if this behavior goes on in your gym.